To celebrate Valentine's Day, the season of love, Big Finish are giving us a trilogy of love-themed Torchwood stories. We've got Torchwood, the last song of Suzie Costello, Torchwood, The Thirst Trap, which is actually written by Tom Price, and Torchwood Launch Date. So these are dropping over the next 3 months. So the trilogy of love stories for Torchwood sees Indira Varma reprise her role as Suzie Costello. If for whatever reason you don't know who Suzie Costello is, she was a supporting character in Torchwood Series 1. She was the second in command to Torchwood behind Captain Jack, and she did not make it out of the first episode. She's revived a few episodes later in a story called They Keep Killing Suzie, and she's revived again in a Torchwood novel. But we have a story here which sees Torchwood pre the TV series, which sees Suzie Costello using her holiday days to steal a Torchwood submarine and to check out an island which has newly formed just off the coast of England, which is getting some very strange readings coming from under the water. She takes the submarine, she finds an alien spaceship pictured here in the background of the cover art, and inside she finds one other person. Let's play a quick clip from the last love song of Suzie Costello.
It's a dragon.
It's not a dragon.
What else do you call that? It's huge and prehistoric and evil looking, and it's a dragon.
We're underwater. I'd have accepted sea monster even, but dragon? You know what? We can argue about taxonomy later. Keep an eye on it and tell me what it's doing.
What are you doing?
Something very clever and complicated.
Yes! What did you do to it?
Hit it with a jet from the coolant system. We should be safe now. Must have been the docking bay. Movement outside the ship sometimes attracts it, but the jets tend to scare it off. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
Something very clever and complicated.
Well?
You turned the garden hose on it.
I think the words you are looking for are, "Thank you, Captain Roma, for saving my life."
Captain. So you're in charge.
Well, not sure you can be a captain without a crew, but...
You docked my sub.
In a manner of speaking, it's a defence protocol, automatic. The ship gets a bit touchy when someone gets too close. Sorry.
Someone like who? You do know you're at the bottom of the ocean.
Believe me, I do.
That's pretty off course for an alien spaceship.
So, under the water, in that alien spaceship, she finds Anwar Roma, played by James Backway, and the two form quite a strong bond. As the title of the story implies, this is the last love song of Suzie Costello. And basically, in this spaceship, Anwar needs to try and get back to the surface because he's taking part in a mission where he's trying to get resources to people who need it. It's basically just a great big charity. What do you call it? Chat, what would you... I'm losing my marbles. Humanitarian, that's the... Thank you, Amy. Yeah, it's a humanitarian ship. Thank you, Amy. That's the word I'm after. It's a humanitarian mission to try and save people in need. There's loads of supplies and rations on board to help war-torn planets. So basically, Anwar is the man of Suzie Costello's dreams and also promises to take her to the stars, because if you know anything from Suzie Costello from the limited time that she had on screen, it's that she thought that her life at Torchwood was not the life that she thought it would be. And I think that the writer, Rafaela Marcus, has hit full-on bullseye exactly what makes Suzie Costello an interesting character that is worth stories like this. I think this is Indira Varma's second or third Big Finish escapade, one of which, I kid you not, involves Blonfell Pasamir Day Slitheen, aka Margaret Slitheen, played by Annette Badland, who reprises her role for Big Finish. I think this is like her third story. And this is such an interesting character, and it's a case of trying to find out what makes her tick and what got her to the position where she was at the beginning of the series proper. There's so much material to be gleaned there, and like I said, I think Rafaela Marcus absolutely nails the character and what makes her fascinating and so compelling. And this is such a great story to put her in as well, where she's basically getting the option. If she's able to work for it, if she's able to get the ship working again, she has the option to get away from Torchwood, to get away from Earth. There's very little actually keeping her on Earth proper. Would she take take it, and what would stop her from doing so? What would be the thing that causes her to stay on Earth? I can't really get into any of the specifics without spoilers, but I do think it's a fascinating character study. There's some really creepy and great moments and some great dialogue. I think that Indira Varma and James Backway have great chemistry with each other, a great rapport and a great back and forth. There's the great line from that clip, you just put the garden hose on it, because there's also a great big creature outside of the ship as well, a gigantic sea predator that followed the ship through the void, through the rift with him. I think that the twists that it takes at the end were a little bit like, the setup was a little bit heavy-handed, I think. I think maybe it showed its hand a little bit too early. But apart from that, this was a fascinating character piece. It was a captivating hour of Torchwood. I think Indira Varma does a great job embodying the character and really getting all of the subtext out to the surface of Suzie Costello. This was a really great listen, particularly what happens at the end, like when Suzie is away from the situation and what she says, like in regards to her state of mind and her sense of place at Torchwood. That was great. Like, if you're a fan of Torchwood and the idea of like Suzie Costello as a character is like interesting to you, then this is like a very, very easy recommendation. If you're not fussed about Suzie, fair enough, but as somebody who really thinks that there's a lot of material to be gleaned from the character, I'm so glad that I was able to listen to this. This was really, really good. Indira Varma's like terrific here as well. I know that the Torchwood monthly range sets aren't typically like ensemble pieces. It is like the odd character, sometimes the odd pairing as well, getting into escapades and adventures. But I really, really want a Suzie Costello adventure with the rest of the Torchwood team. They keep on putting her in monthly adventures where she's on her own going solo. This one, it works. It works to isolate her from the Torchwood team. And her motivation for going out is interesting as well, because in the Torchwood TV show, they mention that there's a Torchwood branch that has just completely gone missing, and she's gone to search for that one. I really want to hear what her dynamic is with the rest of the Torchwood team, or even just one or two members of it. Like I said, the Torchwood monthly range typically isn't an ensemble piece, which, you know, I get it. Basically, every Torchwood monthly range story is a bottle episode, and I completely get it. But this is a great bottle episode for Suzie. It kind of reminds me of how great a character this is conceptually, and how there is so much material to be gleaned from, particularly like the state we find her in at the beginning of Torchwood Series 1, and like why would she do the things she did, what motivates her, what pushes somebody to that location. Yeah, this was really good. This was so much this was a big surprise. Like, I wasn't expecting anything bad or anything, but I kind of go into each Big Finish story with like neutral expectations, and this one was like, this kind of blew the doors off. This was a really good listen. Really enjoyed this. Yeah, a massive credit as well to Rafaela Marcus, who I think this is actually her very first Big Finish credit. Yeah, this is her first Big Finish credit. She's like landed here, like massive Chad energy. Done a really terrific job. Really getting into really getting under the skin of such a fascinating character, and really exploiting the subtext and the potential, and kind of giving Suzie Costello a really bad day, which lines up perfectly with the beginning of Series 1 of Torchwood. This was really good.